You walk into a pharmacy today surrounded by thousands of products, capsules, powders, sprays, all promising to fix something. And yet, buried inside many of those bottles, chemically extracted and renamed, is the same thing your ancestors were chewing on 10,000 years ago. The herb, the root, the leaf. What did the ancient healers know that we are only now beginning to prove? This is not a story about folklore. This is not a story about superstition. This is the story of a body of knowledge so precise, so carefully observed over millennia that modern scientists keep stumbling into it and calling it a discovery. Your ancestor did not have a laboratory. They had time, they had pain, they had observation, and they had something we have almost entirely lost, which is the patience to watch what a plant does to a living body over generations, not in a petri dish, in the only lab that has ever truly mattered, which is the human body itself. In 2015, ethnobotanist Paul Allen Cox published a study examining the overlap between traditional plant medicine and modern pharmaceuticals. What he found was striking. Roughly 40% of all prescription drugs on the market are derived from or inspired by plants that traditional healers already used. 40%. That is not coincidence. That is curriculum. Turmeric is a good place to start. For more than 4,000 years, Ayurvedic medicine prescribed it for inflammation and wound healing. The physicians who encountered it in the 19th century dismissed it as superstition. Too crude, too old. Then in 1995, a team at MD Anderson Cancer Center, led by Bharat Agarwal, began publishing research on curcumin, the active compound in turmeric. What they found was staggering. Curcumin modulates over 150 biochemical pathways in the body. It inhibits inflammatory enzymes. It triggers apoptosis, the process by which damaged cells destroy themselves before turning cancerous. It crosses the blood-brain barrier and protects neurons from damage linked to Alzheimer's disease. All of this inside the root that healers in ancient India were grinding into food 4,000 years ago. They did not know the word curcumin, but they watched people who ate turmeric live differently, age differently, and they kept that knowledge alive inside recipes, inside rituals, inside the daily act of cooking. You did not have to remember to take a pill. You just made dinner. Consider elderberry. Indigenous cultures across Europe, North America, and Asia independently reached the same conclusion about this plant. They used it for fever, for respiratory illness, for viral infection. Cultures separated by oceans and mountain ranges converged on the identical plant for the identical purpose. That does not happen by accident. It happens through thousands of years of sick people and the plants that help them. In 2009, a double-blind study published in Phytochemistry tested elderberry extract against influenza. Patients who took it recovered 4 days faster than the control group. 4 days. The study also found that elderberry compounds block the influenza virus from attaching to host cells entirely. The healer did not know the word hemagglutinin. They just knew the berry worked. Valerian root has been prescribed as a sleep aid for at least 2,000 years. Hippocrates wrote about it. Dioscorides recommended it for insomnia. For centuries, this was dismissed as folk remedy. Then researchers at Justus Liebig University isolated valeric acid from the root and found that it binds to GABA receptors in the brain. GABA is your nervous system's brake pedal. When it fires, anxiety drops and sleep arrives. Valerian helps your brain press that pedal. 2,000 years of observation. Confirmed. The gap between ancient knowledge and modern validation is not a gap in truth. It is a gap in vocabulary. The healer and the scientist describe the same reality. One says this root calms the mind. The other says this compound modulates GABAergic neurotransmission. They are the same sentence in different centuries. You reach into your cabinet and pull out ginger. You think of it as flavoring. Your ancestors thought of it as medicine. Neither of you is wrong. You just forgot which came first. The flavor was how they made sure you would keep taking it. They hid the cure inside pleasure. They hid 10,000 years of clinical observation inside the thing you put in your tea without thinking twice. Tonight, when you reach for something to ease inflammation or calm the noise in your head, you might grab a capsule with a name invented last decade. But inside that capsule is very likely a compound that a healer with no laboratory, No instruments and no vocabulary for molecules already found for you, already tested, already trusted, and passed down one generation at a time all the way to this moment. You walk into a pharmacy today surrounded by thousands of products and